Good morning, my name is Adam Martin. I'm the Vice President of Pre-Construction at Kent Design Build, and I wanted to give you a tour here at Northlake Christian School in Covington, Louisiana. Our relationship began with Northlake Christian School when they engaged us to develop a long-term strategic master plan. They had seen enrollment starting to climb, they knew that there was momentum coming, and so they felt like they needed to do something to prepare for the long term ahead. And we started to put together a plan that could grow the school over the next several decades and prepare for students to come. So phase one of the master plan is this new grand entrance and parking lot. The sequencing of this project was done on purpose because we had to provide new parking and new circulation for car line before we could ever move into future development inside the interior of the campus. So this is a true design build project, but similar to design build, our firm does a lot of design assist, construction manager at risk, and multiple delivery methods that require the contractor, the builder, to be involved throughout the entire process. So the benefit of that on this project was that we were able to sequence construction activities, manage schedule. We even integrated into the design some cost-saving measures so that we could manage the overall school budget. So now let's get into some of the action and let's take a look at what's happening right now. So behind me, what you're going to see is a large expanse of future parking. We're turning a corner here into the site, and now you're going to have parking rows down this entire perimeter, a double wide drive, and additional parking working our way all the way to these live oak trees. When we found this project site, we knew that we had to preserve them. One, it was a requirement for the local jurisdiction to protect these trees, but also the beauty that they add to the project. So this entire site wraps around these live oak trees. When all of it's done, it'll be much more like a park setting inside the interior of this parking lot. So behind me is a detention pond for this project. One of the requirements that we face in our community and in a lot of communities along the Gulf Coast is stormwater management and detention and retention. So this project required a fair amount of detention, meaning that the water is detained for a period of time in a high rain event. Many of you realize in our climate that we get several inches of rain in a short amount of time, and we have to mitigate that on these projects to prevent flooding and drainage issues for the perimeter of the community. So I'm standing kind of on the interior of the site now, and what's beneath me you see is a structural fill clay material. And on this project in particular, the subsurface conditions were not ideal. We had to remove and excavate out about 3 feet of existing materials before we could get to a good base. A lot of times when failures occur, it's because the substrate is not suitable. And so we did a lot of careful planning ahead of this project through geotechnical investigations, through on-site testing to make sure that we accounted for the right amount of cut depth and then bring back structural fill material. So this is a sheep's foot roller. We talked about the cut and the fill requirements on this project, and when we build, we have to remove that dirt and replace that dirt in a certain manner. We do it in what we call lifts, typically in 8-inch increments, and in each lift, in each layer, we compact that soil to make sure that it doesn't settle later. And these nodules actually compact the ground to make sure that it gets as tight as possible to reach that 95% or better compaction rate. So behind me now you see a stack of reinforced concrete pipe. These are the main drainage trunk lines that are going to move water across the site. You remember the detention pond that I mentioned earlier? So these are the structures that are going to move that water from one side of the property to the other, so that during a rain event, as it's stored for a short period of time, it then exits the pond, crosses the site back to the natural waterways through these structures. Again, thank you for joining me today on this brief tour. I hope you enjoyed it. We hope you come actually experience the new entrance soon at Northlake Christian School in Covington, Louisiana.